Elon Musk promises to cut at least $1 trillion from annual federal spending. If he manages to reduce the number of federal workers by, let's just say, 15%, terminate all the DEI contracts and programs, and take a big whack at USAID and EPA, it might net him a saving of $100 billion a year. A big number, but still very far towards delivering his promise of cutting $1 trillion. To get anywhere close to the $1 trillion number, Elon Musk and Doge will have to go after fraud and defense spending. The Government Accountability Office, a congressional watchdog, estimates that between $233 to $521 billion worth of federal spending are lost to fraud every year. Musk claimed last week that 20 million Americans over the age of 100 are receiving Social Security. If true, it will reflect very poorly on the Social Security Administration and the entire US government. But I suspect benefit abuse is not that obvious to identify. To catch it, Doge will need data. Collecting data that don't already exist will take time and a lot of manpower. Unless we're talking about systematic frauds, the cost of going after many small frauds may outweigh the recovery value. But Elon Musk is a very smart guy. If anybody can do it, he can. I'm going to assume that he will find another quick $100 billion worth of saving from going after fraud this year. This brings us to defense. There's a lot of waste in defense spending. Cost overrun is famously rampant in the defense industry. For example, the US Air Force last year was forced to restructure the Sentinel missile program due to a massive cost overrun of over 80%. Elon Musk, the richest defense contractor in the world, wants to reform the contracting process, including a broad use of cost-plus contracts. But even if the reform happens quickly, it will still take time to produce big savings, given the lumpiness of defense spending. Pete Hegseth, the new defense secretary, proposed this week to cut 8% of the Pentagon budget in each of the next 5 years, amounting to some $50 billion each year. This is an ambitious but reasonable goal. The only question is whether he can get Congress to sign up to it. The budget blueprint released by the Senate Republicans earlier this month envisages an increase of $150 billion more in defense spending this year. But Elon Musk has threatened to finance primary challenges to anyone who dares to stand in Trump's way. I'm inclined to think that this will keep the Republican Party behind Trump's policy agenda, including reducing defense spending. Adding everything up, I can see Doge finding savings worth $300 billion this year. Even though it is only a third of what Musk promised, $300 billion, which amounts to about 1% of GDP, is nothing to sniff at. If for nothing else, it would slow the economy, ease inflationary pressure, and lower interest rates.